Hello, I am Vivek Pattani and I'm going to discuss nomenclature and taxonomy. Before starting my video, I would like to request all of you please download the Science EduTech app where you can download this study notes as well as please subscribe my channel. Now starting with the nomenclature and taxonomy, living organisms are classified mainly to avoid confusion, to make study of organism easy and learn how various organisms are related to each other. Scientists have classified living organisms into different taxas. So the nomenclature, as stated earlier, there are about more than millions of plants and animals in the world. So we know the plants and animals in our own area by their local names, and these local names would vary from place to place, even within the country, and probably you would recognize that the confusion which is going to be created. Okay, so if we do not find the ways mean to talk each other to refer to organisms we are going to talk about. Okay, so there needs to be a common single name. Okay, common single name throughout the world. We know the living organisms by their local names. So during our field study or day-to-day observations in routine, some of the common names like neem, mango, okay, you can say red, cockroach, etc. But these local names vary, okay, from place to place. So there is need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that the particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. Here comes the process of the nomenclature. So nomenclature is basically the process, okay, of naming an organism. So the process of identifying the living organisms attached with such names and must be described correctly. And this process of identification, okay, which basically helps us in the study of the nomenclature, okay, and the identification where various scientists are involved have established various methods also, okay, which are acceptable to all other scientific works also. So it is not possible to study all organisms from the nomenclature. Hence, living organisms are meaningfully classified into groups at primary level. Such classification method, okay, are used nowadays. Thus, the classification is a process in which there is a provision of a taxon arrangement to classify any living organisms into to its proper place. Okay, so next term which I'm going to discuss is binomial nomenclature. Scientist Carl Linnaeus developed the binomial nomenclature method for naming two organisms. Binomial, bi means two, nomen means name. Okay, in this system, binomial nomenclature system is a classification system using two names to identify an organism. And how basically system works. Moving forward with the taxonomy, as we integrate with specific characters of the group, when we use the word for certain group, example, there are specific characters for features such as aquatic life, gills, fins, etc. So if we discuss now a mammalian group, we imagine that such animal have hairs on their body. And the scientific word taxon is used for proper group for the study of living organisms. Here the term taxonomy was developed from two Greek words, taxis meaning arrangement and nomia meaning distribution or method. In general, taxonomy is the scientific study of naming, defining, classifying groups of biological organisms based on their shared characteristics. For example, a particular fish have one thing in common, gills. Okay, gills are present in the fishes. So thus The taxon indicates group at different categories. And now there is a taxon for plants where maize is also in taxon. Okay, man, insects and fishes are all forms of taxons. Thus, based and on an characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. And the whole process, again, I'm going to repeat it, is called taxonomy. Okay. Now, what are the basic principles of the taxonomy? The nomenclature and the classification is based on definite rules. Scientific names of plants are based on as per the principles of International Code for Botanical Nomenclature (ICBN), and for animals, International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Okay. Now, some of the rules which I am going to discuss. First rule: naming and classification must be done in Latin. Okay, Latin languages are used. It must be of two names, that is binomial nomenclature. There are some exceptions also. Okay, we must always write genus as first name and second name as species, where the first letter of the genus must be capital letter, and special names must be written in small letter. Okay, so the popular name of the organism, okay, where scientist is involved, must be written at the last. Okay, must be written at the last. And after the species name, the name of the scientist who coined the name must be written in the short. And the genetic name used for naming one organism should not be used for other organism. Okay, so basically classification is not only one step method, but it's a series of sequential steps in which each taxon shows the category. And if taxon is a part of classical arrangement, okay, for example taxonomic categories, such taxa aggregates and forms a taxonomical hierarchy. Okay, I'm going to discuss taxonomical hierarchy in the next lecture. Now, in such classification, taxon is taken as a reference of unit, but it, in a real sense, it indicates a specific row. Okay, so moving forward with the other rules. Okay, when scientific name is written by hand, each separate word should be underlined. Okay, and to show its origin in Latin, in the printed form it is written in the italic form. For example, in this case, this is basically in a computer format, so I'm going to write it in an italic form. Okay, for example, Zia genus maize is basically the species, and L indicates scientists. Okay, now the unit of taxonomy is species. The term has a biological significance, and species forms the populations of individuals which may interbreed to form fully fertile offspring. But there are some exceptions, like some species only use asexual reproduction or rarely use sexual reproduction also. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Please download the Science EduTech app. Please download the Science EduTech app from the Google Play Store and kindly subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.